Hello viruses and ARK fans alike, I am Quarantined here with another ARK video. This is another video in my ARK Dinosaur review series where I take a look at 3 creatures from ARK, tell you all about them, and let you know if they're worth taming in my opinion. I won't keep you waiting any longer, let's just talk about these wonderful creatures. The first creature I'll talk about today is the cute little Doedicurus. I love these things, I just think they're adorable. You have to check out my Clover because she wears a tiny hat and it just looks so funny. 10 out of 10 would recommend dressing up your own Doedic. Anyway, don't mind me. The Doedicurus is a small herbivore that resembles a modern day armadillo, and it spawns in the cold and mountainous regions of the island. It is actually a mammal, so don't expect to see it lay any eggs. Wild Doedics aren't much of a threat to people, although large carnivores like Rexes spawn wherever they spawn, so just watch your back. They don't attack you unless you attack them first, and if you aggro them and don't want to fight, you can simply run away since their movement speed isn't great. When fighting Wild Doedic, it is important to note that they withdraw into their shell after taking 2/3 of their health and damage, and while they're withdrawn, they take 90% reduced damage and significantly less torpor. Knocking out a Doedic to tame it isn't too hard. Like I said before, they walk very slowly, so you can simply kite them while shooting them with tranq arrows or darts, and they should go down pretty simply. They need a lot of food, but that's just one obstacle for an otherwise easy tame. Once you tame your Doedic, you can ride around on it. It is not fast by default, but it can withdraw into its shell and roll around, which is quite a bit faster than its run speed. You can activate this ability by right-clicking on PC, and simply right-click again to stop rolling. You will also stop rolling if you run out of stamina. The Doedic has one attack besides its roll ability, which doesn't do damage by the way. It has the ability to do damage by swinging its tail. You can activate this by left-clicking on PC. The main perk to having a Doedic is its ability to harvest stone. It's one of the best, if not the best, harvesters of stone in the game. When it uses its tail attack on a breakable rock, it will harvest a huge amount of stone. In addition, they're pretty good at gathering thatch, and can even harvest berries. When a Doedic is set on Wander, it will walk around and collect stone autonomously, meaning you don't even need to actively gather stone if you don't want to. The Doedic reduces the weight of stone in its inventory by a whopping 75%, so instead of 50 units of weight, a stack of stone in the Doedic's inventory only weighs 12.5. This, combined with the creature's impressive weight stat, means that it can carry a ton of stone at once. So, do I think it's worth the effort to tame a Doedic? Absolutely. They are not hard to tame at all, and they're definitely one of the essential tames to have in ARK. Their stone harvesting ability is so important for building up your base. That's reason enough to tame one, but if you want another reason, they're just really cute. I'd say tame a Doedicurus, they'll be an incredibly useful addition to your team. The next creature I'll talk about today, much like the last, is not a dinosaur, it is the giant Dung Beetle. This creature appears as a holographic but otherwise standard dung beetle, but it is very large. In fact, while prehistoric dung beetles did exist, they were never as big as ARK portrays. ARK's dung beetle spawns exclusively in a couple caves around the island. It is a passive creature and it won't attack unless attacked first. However, they are very slow, so if you ever accidentally aggro one, you'll be able to get away easily. Their extremely slow speed, along with their low attack power and low HP, makes them pretty easy to kill. Just be aware that much more dangerous creatures reside in the same caves and can sneak up on you while you're dealing with dung beetles. Taming a dung beetle is relatively easy. First and foremost, they are a passive tame, which means you have to follow them around and feed them until they love you, not knock them out. The food they like best is, well, you probably guessed it, dung. Large feces is most effective, followed by medium, small, and then human feces, but rotten meat can also be used in a pinch. Interestingly, the enormous feces dropped by the Titanosaur does not work for taming the dung beetle, so don't waste your time gathering it for taming. Once you've tamed your dung beetle, you can actually pick it up and carry it around, which is convenient considering how slow it normally walks. It will continue to eat dung for the rest of its life, so feeding it won't likely be an issue. The main benefit to having the dung beetle as a pet is its ability to create fertilizer and oil. By placing dung in its inventory, it will automatically convert it to said fertilizer and oil every 15 minutes. Be aware that the beetle needs to be on wander to be able to convert feces, so it's best to let your beetle loose in a small pen it can't escape from. Every size of feces converts into a different amount of fertilizer and oil, and the bigger the poop, the bigger the return. The beetle can convert a set of each different kind of poop at the same time, so it can convert one small, one medium, one large, and so on in a single 15-minute window. Additionally, the amount of poop it can hold at one time is determined by its weight stat, so try and level that up as much as possible. Other than their poop processing capabilities, the dung beetles aren't really good at anything else. Like I said before, they're slow and can't really attack well, and they don't have good harvesting skills. One interesting thing about the dung beetle is that they don't have identifiable genders. This means that you can't breed them, so you can only get more dung beetles by taming wild ones. So, do I think it's worth the effort to tame a dung beetle? Yes, of course, they are incredibly easy to tame, and they're by far the easiest way to obtain fertilizer, as simply giving them poop is easier than mixing poop and thatch in a compost bin. Also, considering oil is a somewhat rare resource, getting that from your dung beetle as well is really helpful. Overall, the beetle is a great thing to have on your team, and you should definitely tame one or a couple. The last dinosaur I'll talk about today is the Yutyrannus, a significantly fuzzier relative of the T-Rex. These feathered beasts spawn exclusively in the snowy biome. The Yutyrannus is one of the most dangerous creatures to spawn on the island, without a doubt. Like I said, it spawns in the snowy biome, which is dangerous by default with deadly low temperatures. That, combined with the myriad threatening creatures that spawn there, makes even finding a Yutyrannus dangerous. When you do find one, they are highly aggressive and have an ability to scare away most dinosaurs in the game. This can make your mount run around erratically, and you have no way of controlling them. We will get into this more later. Not only that, but the Yutyrannus spawns with a pack of 3 Carnotaurus helpers that will attack enemies in unison. Considering all of the factors I just listed, taming a Yutyrannus is not an easy task at all. They're very fast runners, so kiting them isn't really an option with most mounts. My best advice is bring a tanky mount that won't get scared by its roar to absorb damage while shooting it with the strongest tranks you can make. Also, be sure to pick off all of its carno helpers, as they can really get in the way. Once you do tame a Yutyrannus, you can ride on it. It has 3 abilities, the first one being a bite that can be activated by left-clicking on PC. This is a sweeping attack that has quite a bit of range and has decent knockback. The second ability is the intimidation roar that I mentioned before. This terrifies any enemies, causing them to flee, and if they're mounted, they won't listen to their riders. This also inflicts a debuff that increases the amount of damage the terrified creature takes, and reduces the damage it does by up to 50% for quite a bit of time. A select number of creatures will ignore the Yutyrannus, and some will even defend themselves or attack the Yutyrannus. The third ability is an encouraging roar, which will affect any allied creatures. It temporarily boosts the damage output of allies by 25%, and it reduces the damage they take by 20%. Be aware that these roars have a cooldown and they cost a lot of your Yutyrannus' stamina, so be mindful of that. Other than that, the Yutyrannus is good at harvesting all types of meat, hide, and keratin like most carnivores. It is a good mount by itself, but it is quite a bit better as a support animal in a pack. So, do I think it's worth the effort to tame a Yutyrannus? Probably yes. It is such a pain and a danger to tame, but it is the ultimate support animal for taking down alpha wild creatures, and especially the ARK bosses. The Yutyrannus roar abilities make it an invaluable part of any tribe, so taming one is definitely a good idea. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, and if you learned anything new. Let me know what dinosaurs you want me to cover next, or if there are any other video ideas you'd like to see me do. If you'd like, give me a follow on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and until next time, stay deadly viruses. See ya.